Alright, what's going on, everybody? Today I want to do my playoff predictions. So I was just going to originally do like the first round, so just the wild card, but I figured I'd do the entire playoffs. Because if I was just doing the wild card, I mean, it'd be just a couple of games, and I feel like these ones most people are going to agree on, which is why I want to do the whole playoffs right now. And if there's any different matchups, I'll go over them in like a video next week. If, like, say I got it wrong, and then I guess I'd just repick it. But these are going to be my prior to wild card weekend. Week 18's already been done, so this is the playoff field is set. These are my entire playoff predictions. I guess it's going to go all the way to the Super Bowl. Although I did not plan to do this. I was just going to do, like I said, just the wild card. So I didn't plan at all to do this, but I just found this and I thought this would be a cool thing to do. So I'm just going to go through the whole thing. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm not going to go too in-depth into each one. I'll probably do an in-depth for these games. Next is only 4, but for this whole thing, I'm just going to do it kind of quickly. Try to keep it under, 15-20 minutes. Oh, and before we start, I wanted to give a quick little whatever about. So my predictions are week 18. I did go 11-5, so I got 11 right, 5 wrong. I feel like week 18 was kind of easy, but I'm going to keep track in the playoffs of what I get right and wrong as well, so I'll just keep that in the top right. But so I'm going to start with the Jags-Chargers. I'm actually going to have the Jags winning this one. I get it, Herbert's the better quarterback. It is in Jacksonville. I think this is a 1-point spread. I don't have it up. But I'm going to trust Doug Peterson. He's been there. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been to, a couple of playoff games as a head coach. Brandon Staley has not. I'm not the biggest fan of Brandon Staley. I would not be surprised if the Chargers completely disappointed in the wild card round after their first time being there. I know my original tier list, I had the Chargers over the Jags, and it was because of Herbert. But looking back on it, I just think the Jaguars are playing good. I mean, the Chargers had a disaster class in week 18. I don't know what the hell they were doing, why they started everybody. But I just have the Jags winning this one. Bengals, Ravens, easy enough. I'm going to go with Bengals. I would like to choose the Ravens. I know Lamar, they said he's probably coming back. And I do think Lamar is a phenomenal quarterback. They have a good defense, but their offense is pretty terrible. I mean, their weapons are complete trash. Besides Mark Andrews, but I think Mark Andrews is hurt. I know he didn't play week 18. They might have just been sitting him. I would assume that's what they did, but I know he's missed some time this year. I'm still going to pick the Bengals to win that. Bills, Dolphins. If it's Skylar Thompson, that's I don't even want to watch that game. Even if it is Tua, I'm not picking the Dolphins to go up to Buffalo and win. Even if Tua's coming back from the concussion, he still has been out for a couple weeks. Regardless, I don't care who's starting quarterback for the Dolphins. I'm going to pick the Bills. Although Tua and the Dolphins did play a hell of a game last time, a couple weeks. I think it was like a month ago. They were up in Buffalo. But this is the playoffs. It's going to be cold like it was then. Cold game. But quarterback situation's awful. First time head coach in the playoffs. I got to go with the Bills. And then that would, to some disappointment, to be a 1, 2, 3, 4 seed, but it's most likely how the playoffs usually go. Bucks, Cowboys. I believe the Cowboys are favored. I think it's like 3 or 3.5. But I just see the Bucks winning. I don't know. Like, I just, how they always say like the Cowboys like collapse every season. Like, it's just too predictable to pick. If you would ask me before week 18, I probably would have said the Cowboys. But after seeing, but I need to pick an upset, like, because I probably just gonna pick the Vikings again, and then just the 40. Like, I can't do that. I don't want to have 1, 2, 3, because it's not how it's gonna go. There will be an upset. This is the thing with any post-season or like March Madness stuff. There's gonna be an upset, but it's so hard to pick the upset because you just don't see any teams losing. I mean, it's the 4 and the 5 seeds that I think for both divisions are the easiest. I'll pick no, I'm not betting against Tom Brady. I'm going to pick Tom Brady in the playoffs over Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy. Yeah, I just see the Bucs winning that. And then 6, this one's another one. Like, the 3 and the 6 over here, Bengals, Ravens, I don't see this one being an upset. But this one, the Vikings, Giants, like, the Giants aren't a contending team. Like the Giants are not making it past the divisional round. They just don't have the play. Like their roster is just not even close to the Eagles, the 49ers. But the Vikings do have one of the worst defenses in the entire NFL. Like the Giants, as bad as their offense is, I think it's the worst one in the playoffs. Like I'm not saying it's a bad offense, just of the remaining teams. I mean, I know the Ravens have been bad, but they've got a backup quarterback. Once they get Lamar, they're 10 times better than the Giants' offense. But I think I like the Giants' coaching staff better. The Vikings coaching their first-year head coach as well. God, this is hard. I'm gonna go with the Vikings. No, I need to pick an upset. Actually, I can't. Like, I just don't see the Giants winning. You know what? Fuck it. I'll go with the Giants. Sorry, Vikings fans. It's just too. I don't want to pick 1 through 4. Like, I just can't do that because I don't think a 1 through 4 is gonna happen. I don't think it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 on both sides. Like, there will be an upset somewhere. I just don't know which one it will be. Seahawks, Niners. I'm going to go Niners. I do think they give them a tough game. I do think Brock Purdy in the playoffs, potentially, I'm just saying potentially, could falter a little bit. Pete Carroll's been there. I know Kyle Shanahan and the rest of the 49ers have been there. They were just in the NFC Championship last year. But, I don't know, Brock Purdy's 22-year-old rookie quarterback. He's not supposed to be starting right now. I mean, he was the third quarterback to begin the year. But Seattle, I think, is limited. I don't think they're a 7 seed. They are what the record says they are. It's not like they had their quarterback out for the whole year and then he just came back. Like, they're 7 seed out of the 49ers winning that. And then to the divisional round, the Bengals, Bills, Jaguars, Chiefs. I am actually... This one will be in Buffalo. I had the Bills winning this one. I chose the Bengals to win when they played last week in Cincinnati. I actually had the Bengals in my prediction video. I had the Bengals beating the Bills. But in Buffalo, in the playoffs, after all that's just happened, I think the Bills are going to win. I think the Bills are going to go to the AFC Championship. It's tough to go to back-to-back AFC championships like the Bengals. If they were to make it, it's a hard thing to do. This is an awesome game. This is the best game of the divisional round right here. And I'm kind of rooting for a neutral site AFC championship game. I think that would be, obviously unprecedented, but I also think it'd be super cool. I don't know where they're planning. I don't know if they announced. I don't think they did because I haven't seen anything. But I'm interested to see where that would be. But I'm going to go with the Bengals. Jaguars, Chiefs. Obviously, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Jaguars, I would assume they'd be the biggest underdogs in this round going to Arrowhead. Doug Peterson, I believe he coached with Andy Reid on the Chiefs coaching staff. Jaguars, inexperienced. They're just not. What are they, an 8-win team? Like, they're just not the Chiefs. 9-win team, maybe. I would assume everybody. It would be 99% betting on the Chiefs, and the 1% would be like the 24 Jacksonville fans in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm sorry, Jaguars. Next year will be better. I think next year they'd have a better chance at winning the divisional round, but this year I just don't have them doing it. Giants, Eagles. Giants have surpassed expectations, just exponentially. Like divisional round they wouldn't have. Just the playoffs was good for them to make. I don't even know if they'll get this far. They got to go through the Vikings. So I do have respect for the Vikings. But, Giants are a hard-nosed football team. They got a hard-nosed coach, and they could win this. But going against the Eagles, their starters did get clobbered by the Eagles at home. And then I do understand the third stringers, second stringers just went to Philly and lost by 6. It was a garbage time touchdown. The Eagles were sort of just not, like, they did not want to play that game. They just kind of called a really basic game, kicked more field goals than they ever would before. Like, there were several times in that game where it was a 4th down and they would have gone for it. But obviously weren't trying to injure Hurts. He didn't really run the ball at all. They just try to get in there, get out, get the 1 seed, and, take your 2 weeks off. I think the coaching staff is good, so I think if you give them 2 weeks off, same with the Chiefs. If you get 2 weeks off, Andy Reid is not losing with a 2-week break in between the playoffs to the Jaguars. And I'm going to say the same thing about the Eagles. I'm thinking Nick Sirianni's good enough to take a 2-week break and prepare his team. It's at home in Philly. I'm going to go with the Eagles. And then here, 49ers at Bucks. This is awesome. Tom Brady 49ers playoff game in San Fran or Santa Clara, wherever the stadium is. Pretty sure it's like an hour outside of San Fran. I don't think it's in San Fran. But regardless, Bucks have been the second best team in the NFC all year long. This is hard because, I mean, it's Brock. I'm going to go with the Bucks. And only because it's Brock Purdy versus, I mean, I get it. It's a team. It is a team. But this is the playoffs. Brock Purdy, 22-year-old quarterback going up against a 40-some-year-old Tom Brady. Before this video, I think I said in my video that I did yesterday on the tier list, I had the 49ers as the team coming out of the NFC. But now that I'm doing this, how it plays out, I don't, like, I think if the Bucks do get to if Bucks beat the Cowboys, I think they have a great chance to go past the divisional round. But if they get stomped, obviously they're out of it. But if they beat the 5-seed Cowboys, I think, and don't walk out with any injuries, I do think they have a great chance to beat the 49ers. And I'm going to pick them too. You know, I want this to be interesting. And I could definitely see this happening. And then a Hurts Brady rematch from last year's. Actually, I'll do the AFC first. Bills Chiefs. Oh, this. I mean, obviously a rematch. I think they played 2 years in a row now. I think 2 years ago. I think the Bills 2 years ago was the AFC Championship that they lost in Kansas City. God, neutral. I'm gonna go with the Bills. I normally, like I just said before, if I would have done this video, I would have said the Chiefs, but I don't like the Bills. Can't. It's hard to beat somebody consecutive times like that much in the post. Like, it's just hard to have somebody's number like that in the playoffs. It's sort of like the 49ers on the Packers. You know, they've definitely had their number, but it's just a difficult thing to do to year in and year out beat somebody in the playoffs. I think the Bills, I think this is their year to finally get by. I mean, if you go through this gauntlet, I mean, the Ravens, not really, but the Bengals and the Chiefs, you know, they're the real deal. It'll be a neutral site. Great game. I mean, this could go either way. If you're a Chiefs fan, like, you have a great chance. I think the odds are so close for the Super Bowl, but I'm just going to go with the Bills. Bucks, Eagles, in Philly. I'm going to go with the Eagles. I do think, like I mentioned, the 49ers could definitely make it, and then the 49ers win. Like, that is probably the most probable, but for my predictions, I'm just going to go with the Bucks winning, and then I'm going to go with the Eagles winning. I think the Eagles roster is a lot better than the Buccaneers. Sort of what the Bucks are, what their strengths are with their line and their receiving core. The Eagles are still better than them in those. They have a better running back. I mean, Leonard Fournette last year was great, but I think Miles Sanders has been better this year. Better tight end. You know, their defenses are pretty similar. I just think the Eagles have a better roster. Potentially a better coach. I mean, Todd Bowles has been around for a while, but I don't think he's, you know, stand out. The only X factor is Tom Brady. That's, you know, that scares me. But I'm still going to go with the Eagles. You know, they've beaten him before. Tom Brady, he can't lose. Like, it is not a single person sport. Like, it's a team sport. And the Eagles are the better team, and they've been the best team in the NFC all year. Bills, Eagles. I gonna go the Bills. Oh, I didn't mean to scroll up. I think the Bills would win this one. Where is it? It's in Arizona. I mean, Bills, Eagles, that'll be an insane game. I think this is the highest odds right now for ESPN for the Super Bowl matchup. And it's been like that for a couple weeks now. The Bills, I think, were the heavy favorites going into the season. And then they sort of fell off. I don't know where the train sort of fell off with the Bills. I think they lost to the Jets and the Dolphins, I think it was. And sort of people kind of fell back on them. But I think they're a great team. I think Josh Allen will show up in the playoffs, be fantastic, win Super Bowl MVP. I don't see anybody on the Eagles stopping Stephon Diggs. And the Eagles are a young team. They got a second-year head coach. Second-year starter. Hurts is 24 years old. Sirianni's 41. You know, Devontae, AJ are like 24, 25, or 23 and 24. Like, they got a young team that'll be here. But I just think it's the Bills' time. They've been, you know, knocking on the door and have just gotten barely defeated. And I think they break through this time, and I think they win it. So these are my playoff predictions for the entire thing. This is my treat. I'll revisit this each week. And if I do, say I get, 6 games this week, say I get 3 of them wrong, and all these games are different, then I'll do like another video on my predictions. But I will also not forget that I got them wrong, so I will mention that. And I'll also be releasing a awards, sort of like who I would give my awards to this year, like MVP, comeback player of the year, coach of the year, all that, later on the week. I think Friday I'll be releasing that video. But I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next one.